Toastmasters, and distinguished guests. The author and the poet William Arthur Ward once said, "A novice mentor tells, a good mentor explains, a superior mentor demonstrates, the great mentor inspires." The importance of mentorship has been shown time and time again throughout history. Famous examples of mentor-mentee relationships include Steve Jobs and Mark Zuckerberg, Ralph Waldo Emerson and Henry David Thoreau, and of course, Yoda and Luke Skywalker. I've been incredibly lucky in that I've had a number of people who have mentored me throughout my life. First and foremost, my family, my parents, my father especially, and of course my older brother. But today I'm going to talk about someone who has mentored me throughout my short career, watched me in my metamorphosis from a young analyst into where I'm at in my career today, and is still my greatest mentor, at least certainly professionally, today. And I'm also going to argue that William Arthur Ward was right when he said that great mentors inspire. But I'm also going to give examples of how, at least my mentor, has shown that teaching, explaining, and demonstrating are also all parts of what makes a mentor great and allows them to truly inspire. First, let me give you a brief description of my mentor. His name is David, and he is currently the director on my team at work, which is the position immediately above where I am as a vice president. I've known David for almost 9 years now, worked with him for almost 7. He was also my first media boss in my first job out of school. I've worked for him for almost 3 years in my first job until I moved over to another bank for a couple years before I moved over to the bank I'm currently at, which is called Houlihan Lokey. Moved over to Houlihan in 2014, and about 6 months afterwards, I was able to convince David to come over and join me at Houlihan. We've been working together again now for almost 4 years. Throughout the almost 9 years I've known David, even during the couple years when I wasn't working with him, he's always been a mentor to me and demonstrated each of the qualities that make a mentor great. First, a great mentor teaches. At the appropriate time, he's never hesitant to tell me what he thought. He's always been able and willing to communicate his honest opinions. He would share insights from his work in commercial banking before business school, and also talked about the marketing classes and presentation skills classes he had taken that I'd never taken. And besides our generally great rapport and similar personality types, that was really the first aspect of our relationship as mentor-mentee. Second, a great mentor explains. It wasn't just the fact that David was teaching me, telling me all the things he'd learned throughout his experience. It was the way he does it. One of the most unique aspects about David as a mentor, and one of the primary reasons I've always found our relationship to be so beneficial and so important, is the way he would explain things to me. He wouldn't just tell me what to do or how to do it, but he would say why it should be done a certain way and how it fits into the bigger picture. And whenever time permitted, he would also try to help me figure out the answers on my own. He was, and still is, at least with the junior bankers in our group, a very big proponent of the Socratic method, this cooperative, argumentative dialogue based on asking questions to stimulate critical thinking and to help you lead yourself to the best path forward. I've found that this method of teaching and explaining to be 100 times more effective than any other sort of on-the-job training I've ever had. You not only remember the things you've learned much better, but it also helps you think outside the box, and often you come up with creative ideas and new solutions. Third, a great mentor demonstrates. From the first day of working with David, it became immediately apparent that he wasn't the type of boss to ask you to do something that he wasn't willing to do. He's never been above any duty in the office. If we're all getting slammed and there's one page in a presentation that needs logos copied and pasted into it, he would always do what he could to help out. Obviously it's changed some as we both become more senior, but there was never a time when I was getting slammed at the office working till midnight and he was cruising out at 5 and leaving me behind. At least at his level, he's always been one of the first people in the office and the last ones out. He's the definition of a team player, and to this day is one of the hardest people I know, one of the hardest working people that I know. Lastly, a great mentor inspires. The fact that he's always done all these things is what makes David an inspiration to me. He shared his knowledge with me, explained to me how and why things should be done, and also served as an example for me to aspire to. And perhaps above all, he's also always cared for me on a personal level. More than anyone else I've ever worked with, he's always made a point to help me with my own career development. Little things like making sure I was invited to every meeting and conference call, even if I was just going to be sitting there and listening in. And more times than I can count, volunteering to give up some of his more senior responsibilities, such as marketing or business development, because he knew that that was the type of experience that I needed. After all these years, I know as hard as it has worked to be a mentor to me on a professional level, He genuinely cares about my happiness and my life outside of the office. In conclusion, I don't think there's any chance I'd be where I'm at in my career today if it weren't for the mentorship of David. Literally from the first day of my career, first day on the job, he helped guide me and mentored me. It's funny because as I've advanced in my career and become more senior, I started to try to mentor some of my younger colleagues, even find myself trying to emulate David as a mentor. And I sincerely hope that I can find someone who will be able to look up to me the way I've been able to look up to him. And as I go, I'll of course remember the great mentor tells, explains, and demonstrates, but most importantly, inspires. Thank you very much.